Hello, everyone, and welcome. So today we're going to tackle one of the newest parts of the TOEFL, and honestly, it can be pretty challenging. It's the academic discussion task. But don't worry, by the time we're done here, you are going to have a super simple, super clear plan to get a fantastic score. So let's just jump right in. Okay, first things first, the time. You have just 10 minutes. 10 minutes to read everything, plan your answer, and write your entire response. That's all you get, 10 minutes. Now, I know what you're thinking. That sounds really stressful, right? But honestly, don't worry. The secret here isn't about writing faster. It's about having a much smarter plan. And that's exactly what we're going to build together today. So here's our plan. We'll start by understanding this new challenge. Then, I'm going to share the big secret for a high score. After that, we'll map out a 10-minute game plan, look at how to write an awesome response, and finish up with a quick 60-second final check. All right, let's get started. Section 1, the new TOEFL challenge. So, what exactly is this task? So the best way to think about this task is like a short online discussion you'd have in a university class. But here's the really important thing to remember. It's at the end of the test. You've already gone through the long reading and listening sections, so you're probably going to feel pretty tired. That's why you absolutely need a strategy that's simple, one that works even when you're feeling, not 100%. Okay, now for what is maybe the most important part of this whole thing. Seriously, if you only remember one thing from today, let it be this. Your secret weapon for a high score is to add something new. So what does that actually mean, to add something new? Well, it means your number one goal is to bring a fresh idea into the discussion. You're not there just to summarize or say I agree with the other students. Nope, you have to add your own unique point of view. And look, you can really see the difference here. A low-scoring answer, it just repeats what someone else said. It's kind of like being a parrot, right? But look at the high-scoring one. It extends the conversation. It might start by saying, yeah, I see your point, but then it adds a totally new related idea. That's the key. Okay, so you might be thinking, how on earth do I do all that in only 10 minutes? Well, that's where the game plan comes in. Let's break it down step by step so you know exactly what to do. This timeline right here, this is your key to success. You've got to break down those 10 minutes into 4 chunks. First, give yourself about 1.5 minutes just to read and really understand the question. Then, just 1 minute to plan your new idea. The biggest chunk of your time, about 6 minutes, goes to writing. And here's the critical part. You have to save that last 1.5 minutes to review and fix your mistakes. Do not skip the step. Right, so I can almost hear you asking, but how do I come up with a new idea that quickly, especially when I'm feeling all that pressure? That's a really common question, a big worry for a lot of people. But guess what? There's a simple trick for it. And that trick is this simple tool called S.P.E.E.D. It's an awesome way to brainstorm. So let's say the other students are all talking about one thing. You can find a new angle fast by just thinking about the topic from one of these perspectives. S for society, P for a personal story, E for economy, another E for environment, or D for development. Just pick one, any one, and boom, it'll help you spark a new idea almost instantly. All right, so now you've got a plan, and you've got a new idea. Perfect. Now let's talk about how to actually write a response that sounds like a pro and gets you that top score. The most reliable strategy here is something I call pivot and extend. It's super simple and it works every time. Here's how it goes. First, you pivot. That just means you mention something a classmate said. This shows the graders you're actually listening and are part of the conversation. Then you extend. That's where you add your own unique idea. So let's look at the pivot. This is your first move. You just start your response by connecting it to another student. You could say something about Paul or Claire or whoever is in the discussion. It's that easy. And then comes the extend. Right after you pivot, you bring in your new idea. You can use great transition words like however or additionally to introduce it. And let me tell you, this is the most important part of your entire response. This is where you get the points. Here's a really simple trick to make your writing sound much more academic. Tiny changes in your vocabulary can make a huge difference. Like instead of a simple word like says, you could try a more precise one like asserts or maintains. Or instead of good things, get specific. Say something like positive environmental impact. See? It just makes your whole response sound so much smarter. Okay, we are almost at the finish line. But that last minute of your time, it is so, so important. You have to use it to check your work for any little mistakes. So let's talk about a few common traps you need to avoid. First, there's the parrot. That's the person who just repeats what everyone else said. Don't do that. And then there's the perfectionist. This is the person who gets so caught up fixing tiny mistakes that they run out of time. Listen, it is so much better to have a complete response with a few small errors than a perfect but unfinished one. Completion is everything. So in that final 60 seconds, what should you be looking for? Just use this quick checklist. Scan through your writing and ask yourself these questions. Did I actually answer the question? Check. Did I mention a classmate? Check. Did I add a new idea? Double check. And finally, did I look for any really obvious mistakes, like typos? This super fast review can literally save your score. So please, remember this. Your goal here is not to memorize a bunch of perfect sentences. The real goal is to have a clear, simple strategy that you can count on. A system you can use every single time, whether you're practicing or taking the real test. And that's it. It's that simple. With this plan, you are absolutely ready to go out there and crush the academic discussion task. You've got the secret, you've got the 10-minute strategy, so really the only question left is, what new idea will you bring to the discussion?